Hey, what's up everyone? I'm back. Feels like it's been forever since we've made a video, even though it has only been a little more than a week. I apologize for the hiatus. I was out celebrating my 34th birthday. But we're back now. I'm super excited to be making this video. So as always, if you have yoga blocks, go ahead and grab them. Textbooks work too. Anything you can prop yourself up on that's solid. Also, if you're fortunate enough to have a yoga strap, go ahead and grab that. If not, dog's leash, old towel, scarf, anything you have that you can put behind your back that's maybe like 3 or 4 feet in length would work just fine. So go ahead and grab that stuff. And then when you're ready, let's come to the top of our mats. We're gonna do some stretches there. So these first stretches are gonna feel a little foolish. I apologize, but nobody's watching. This is a home practice, right? So whatever. All right, so let's start with our hips, with our feet directly below our hips, feet hip width distance apart, whatever that is for you. Let's put our hands on our hips. That's right, we're gonna do some hip circles. So I'm going to start counterclockwise. So we're gonna start to the left and then come forward and then over to the right and back. Maybe you experiment with making tiny circles and then maybe you start to make them a little bigger and let the movement come from the hips and the lower back. Maybe try to see if you can feel out all 4 sides of your feet, right? As you go back, maybe you're on your heels, to the sides, then to your toes. And let's flip our circles. So let's go the other direction. So this is clockwise for me. If you didn't start in the same direction as me, no worries, it all gets done. So maybe at this point, maybe you, I always like to invite people to think of a phrase or maybe something that they want to embody in their practice to manifest. So, for me, I think today during this practice, I think I need a little bit of patience. So I think I'm gonna think on that while we're doing our flow today. You don't have to, it's just something that I like to bring into my practice. Everybody's different. All right, so let's finish out our circles here. I feel like a little hula girl, although I'm sure I look ridiculous. Okay, so let's then go ahead and do some neck rolls. So just if you have your hands on your hips, go ahead and drop them. And let's just roll out the neck a little bit. Whichever direction you want to start in. I seem to always start counterclockwise, but this time I went clockwise. I am crunchy. Oh, sometimes I don't go all the way back either, I like to roll it right to left and bring my chin to my chest, but then on the back end, I don't always go all the way back, right? My necks don't really like to do that. And let's go the other direction. I went away for my birthday this year, not far. My family is in Maine, and I live in New England. But the Airbnb pillows, although it was a delightful Airbnb, not the best pillows. So my neck's got a little crunchy since. Okay. And then let's go the other direction. Maybe flip it the other way one more time, whatever feels good. Okay, awesome. So let's bring the head back to stillness. And I'm gonna put my hands back on my hips. You don't have to if you don't want to, but we're gonna do some leg circles. So I want you to put your weight into your left foot, raise up your right leg, and extend the leg out in front of you and point the toes. And I'm gonna start going counterclockwise, and we're just gonna make like dinner plate sized circles with our leg. And your goal is to not have your toes touch the ground. No worries if you come out of it or if your foot needs to come down for a second. And every time your leg sweeps up, I want you to engage your core. We'll leave your core engaged the whole time, but really try to draw from the core when your leg comes up. And it doesn't take very long. We're gonna go ahead and switch the circles here. Doesn't take very long, and you're gonna start to feel maybe a burning kind of sensation in your hip socket. Strengthening those muscles. Iliopsoas or psoas iliacus. There we go. Psoas iliacus muscles. So your psoas muscle comes down. It kind of comes to the inside of your hips here. It's actually two different muscles joined together. Any of my nursing friends are probably going, no, actually that's not right, but that's the way I pictured it anyway. All right, so let's drop that right foot back down. Maybe shake up your legs a little bit. And let's move into the other side. So put your weight into your right foot. Feel it all four sides. Maybe even spread the toes a little bit. And then we're gonna start, let's go counterclockwise, or wherever you're feeling, it's your choice. I'm just suggesting, but this is ultimately your practice. So however you wanna do it, and if there's anything you wanna skip, feel free to skip it. So again, dinner plate size circles. You can play around, maybe like smaller circles or bigger circles. Start with dinner plate. I'm not sure which is harder, bigger or little. I feel like little is actually burns a little more for me. All right, let's switch the circles. Keep engaging the core. All right, and then let's go ahead and drop the left foot down and shake it out. So you can continue to face forward, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm gonna turn. So you can continue if you don't have a strap or dog's leash or whatever. You can continue to just do this. We're gonna do some stuff with the arms and the shoulders. So you can totally do this without having a strap. But if you do have one, or something like it, I want you to bring this in front of you, and then bring your arms nice and wide, holding on to the strap, a little wider than your shoulders, right? And we're just gonna start by coming up, and I want you to keep tension on this strap, right? So keep pulling it apart, come up, and then back, and down. Touch the strap to your booty, come back up. Yep. Maybe you want to inch in a little bit more. It gets harder the closer your arms are. So let's come up with a big breath. Blow it out as you return it back down to your booty. And then inhale, come up, exhale, bring it down to touch your pelvis. Inhale up, exhale back down. So even if you're doing this without a strap, keep your breath in mind as you're doing this. When you come down, you exhale. Going up, you inhale. And you don't have to stand with your legs wide like this. I just am so that I'm in frame. I need this room to be just a tad bit bigger to get a little further away from me so that my head and my feet are both in the picture. All right, so next time you bring the strap in front of you, we're gonna go ahead and drop it. And we're just gonna shrug out our shoulders. So let's go up, down, back, up, back, down. I guess that's a more proper way to say that. And then let's switch directions. So you're coming up, forward, down, up, forward, down. And then let's bring our shoulders way up to our ears. Take a breath in. And then exhale, drop it. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, drop the shoulders. As if you're like shaking something off, right? All right. Come back to the top of your mat, or I'll come back to the top of my mat. You guys, you were always there. We're going to come into Samastitihi. So simply stand, your feet sure to be underneath your hips. So stand your hips, your feet underneath your hips, palms facing towards the front of the mat. And then your shoulders directly over your pelvis. Engage the core as always. Inhale. And then exhale. Relax the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale. Next inhale, the arms are coming up. So inhale, sweep the arms up, bring them to prayer over your head. And then as you exhale, start to fold at the hips and bow down. And then your hands are going to come down to the mat for just a moment. Have a nice bend into the knees. Relax the torso over the thighs. Try to relax your back the best you can. Maybe you want to shake the head yes and no. Make sure you're not holding any tension in the neck. These forward folds are so good for the lower back to release tension. Awesome. So if you have that strap near to you, go ahead and grab it. Or dog's leash, and you can just hold it behind your back with a little bit of tension. If you don't have a strap, but you don't feel like, because we haven't done a whole lot of heart openers yet, we're just getting started. So the front of your chest is still pretty tense. So you can either grab the strap, grab opposite elbows, right, or opposite forearms, that's perfectly fine. Or if you have the flexibility in the front of your chest, you can clasp your hands and then pull them up and away from the body, trying your best to keep the base of the palms together as well. No big deal if they kind of come out a little bit, right? No big deal, but if you can, try to have them nice and tight, like a good gripped handshake, right? All right, so let's grab the strap, opposite elbows, forearms, or opposite hand. And let's let's straighten rather the left leg, keep the bend in the right leg, and try to draw your right shoulder towards your left knee. So this is a very subtle movement, and you're going to feel a stretch in the outer left hip. And just focus on the inhales and the exhales. Let's switch sides. So straighten the right leg, bend the left, draw the left shoulder towards the right knee, regrip the strap, forearms, or opposite palm if you feel like you're coming out of it. Inhale slowly. Stay for the exhale. Inhale, straighten both legs, release the grip with grace. Try not to slingshot the arms. We're going to plant the hands, step back. We're going into a downward facing dog, so we're not going into chaturanga quite yet, no high planks yet. And we're just going to push the ground away with both of our hands. And then bend into one knee and then the other, just pedaling out your downward facing dog. Keep reaching the hips up towards the sky and the wall behind you. So you want to try to have as long of a spine as possible. Your head should be between your biceps, between the upper arms. And you're just breathing. We're going to get flowing here in a moment. We're just stretching out the hamstrings before we do so. And let's go ahead and drop the knees. Right, so maybe you calf the spine a little bit And then slowly drop the knees. So we're gonna sit back on our heels to stretch out the wrists. I was gonna do them on all fours, but I feel like I always do it that way. So let's do something different. So let's start by just making circles with the hands, whichever direction you wanna go. I'm going in the opposite direction with both hands. You can go the same, whatever you wanna do, it's all good. Let's switch the direction. You can just sit back on your heels. If you're a psycho like me, you can roll the toes over and stretch out the bottoms of your feet. It's very uncomfortable. All right, and then we're going to extend the arms. So as if you're like reaching for something, right? So keep a lot of energy going through the arms, and then we're just going to flick water, right? So I want you, as if you were trying to flick water on someone. And you can do this as fast or slow as you want. Warming up the forearms. I'm going to untuck my toes because it's getting a little more than just distracting. So you can go a little faster. It burns so good. Okay, let's shake it up. So next, I'm going to turn to face you. Next, we're going to take the right hand, and I want you to like point your fingers down towards your lap, and then just gently push on the back of your right palm with your left hand, and you should feel a stretch the top of the arm, at the top of the wrist. So a lot of times in yoga, we have our hands going the other direction. So to counter that, we're going to stretch going the other way. Okay, and then on the other side, so left hand, fingers point down, go ahead and stretch. Push gently, should feel a stretch in the top of the wrist. Mine, it goes maybe halfway up my forearm, just a gentle stretch. Good, and shake it out. All right, awesome. So let's come back forward here. We're gonna push back to our downward facing dog again. Take a big breath in, and then sigh your breath out. Take another big breath in, this time come up on the tiptoes. Bend the knees, look forward. Inhale, hop or step to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, so your hands can come to blocks or to your shins. Nice flat back here, relax the shoulders away from the ears. Nice straight spine. And then exhale, forward fold. Let something go. Inhale, roll up slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale again, lift the arms up, prayer over your head, draw the hands down the body, hinge at the hips, come back down, plant the hands, step or hop back. High plank position, moving into chaturanga. So push the ground away, protract the scapulus so the pointy parts go up towards the ceiling, and then lean forward 1 inch, lower down as you exhale with control. When you're halfway, push the ground away. Inhale, upward facing dog. Engage the thighs so much the kneecaps lift. And then exhale, pike the hips, push back, downward facing dog. Inhale, high up on the tiptoes. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward. Inhale, hop or step to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Exhale when you reach the top. Inhale, arms come up. Draw them down the body, hinge at the hips. Coming back down, plant the hands, step or hop back. Chaturanga, lean forward, inhale. Exhale, lower down with control. Inhale, push the ground away, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, the right knee comes into the chest. Exhale as you plant the leg, plant the foot between the hands. And then we're coming into warrior one. So, yep, left foot goes 45 degrees to the left side of the mat. Make sure your feet are on train tracks so they're not in line with each other. Engage the core. Inhale as you come up. Check in with that front knee. Make sure it's tracking towards the pinky edge side of the foot. Square the hips to the top of the mat. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. All right, inhale again. And then exhale, come back down, chaturanga. Push the ground away, lean forward, lower down with control. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg comes into the chest. Round your back, step the left foot down between the hands. Right foot goes to 45 degrees to the right side of the back. Engage the core. Come up, inhale. I'm going to inch my foot forward. Relax the shoulders away from the ears as you exhale. Square the hips to the top of the mat. If you're not sure if they're squared, you can always put your hands on your hips and feel your hips. Keep tracking that knee towards the pinky side. Make sure it's not collapsing inward. Inhale one more time, grow a little longer in the spine. And then exhale, come back down. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, push the ground away, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Awesome. Let's take one inhale here, just in our down dog. Or one breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, high up on the tiptoes. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward. Inhale, hopper step to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then on your inhale, I want you to make sure that your feet are hips width distance apart here. And I'll give you other feet variations in just a moment. So make sure your feet are hip width distance apart. Don't collapse the knees in. Bend the knees, engage the core, sweep the arms up, coming into chair pose. So this feet position is comfortable for me. Some people, if you're a proper yogi, will bring the toes to touch and the heels apart. That doesn't feel great on my knees, so I go hips width distance apart. You can also have both of your feet together, right next to each other. All right, so I know your thighs are burning, so let's inhale one more time, and then exhale, clasp the hands together, internally rotate the palms to face out, and lower down and bring your torso to your thighs. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, one more, inhale, exhale, forward fold. Awesome. So I'm going to give you a couple options here. If you're familiar with crow pose or you want to give it a try, feel free to follow me. If you're not into balancing your weight onto your arms and hands, here's another option for you. So you're going to go into a Malasana squat. So just heel toe your feet so that your toes are spilling off the edges of the mat. Squat down, bring your elbows to the insides of your thighs, push your thighs away, and you're trying to draw your pelvis below your shoulders. Relax the shoulders away from the neck or the ears. Okay, so come into Malasana, or your other option if you want to give it a try is crow pose. So what you're going to do here, I'm going to reset. You're going to put your hands down on the mat, spread your fingers apart, and then you're going to try to grip the mat as if you were trying to crumple it up. Don't actually, but send some energy to your hands. And then you're going to bring your knees to the backs of your arms. I bring my knees really close into my armpits. You can also bring your knees just behind your elbow joint. I like to bring them to my armpits. So bring your knees to your armpits or the elbows. It's actually a difference between crow and crane, but anyway. So bring the knees behind the armpits or the elbows, and then you're going to start to lean your weight forward. Maybe you lift one toe up and then drop it back down, or the other toe and then drop it back down. Maybe you lean forward and look beyond the mat, so look way forward. You're going to tip your head back. Maybe you start to bring both legs up, right? Maybe bring back down. Maybe you want to bring them all the way up and hold. So play around with that. I'll give you just a moment. All right, wherever you are, come back down. We're going to plant our hands, hop back or step chaturanga. Inhale. Exhale as you lower down. Inhale as you push the ground away. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, coming into dolphin pose, which I loathe. Go ahead and drop your forearms and then inch your toes towards your elbows. This is a pretty intense stretch on the back of the legs. Keep pushing your chest through your shoulders back towards your knees. Bend the knees as you need. And just breathe. This is a good shoulder strengthener, good shoulder opener, chest opener, hamstring stretch. And then just drop the knees back down. Good. And then push back up to downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, draw the right knee into your chest again. Step it through, plant it, warrior one. So rotate that left foot to the left side of the mat, 45 degrees. Get light into the hands, come up, inhale. Exhale, round the left arm forward in front of you, down and then back, opening up to warrior two. So you're gonna align that left arch with the right heel. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Look over your right middle finger. Keep tracking that right knee towards the pinky side of your foot. Inhale. Exhale, flip the palm, the right palm, going up and back. Exalted warrior. Make sure you didn't come out of the bend in your right knee. Inhale. Look up at the right elbow. Exhale. We're going to come forward, bringing either our right forearm to our thigh, and then the left arm goes up and overhead, and you're looking up at the left elbow. You can also bring a block on the inside of your right foot and bring your hand to that block or book. This is the way I prefer. Or, if you're super bendy, you can bring your hand down to the mat. I like the block. I think my legs and my arms are just so long and my torso is so short, and it just feels better to me, and that's enough of a reason. So go ahead and exhale, round your chest back towards the mat, step your left foot in just a little bit, and straighten the right leg, coming into pyramid pose. You're going to relax your torso over your right thigh. And feel free to move that left leg in or out It may need to come in or out depending on your body habitus, wherever it needs to be. It's all good. So I'm feeling a stretch in the back of this leg here, and I'm relaxing my back. So I'm just kind of letting my torso drape over my leg. My legs are really doing the work here. Upper body is just heavy. Awesome. And then rebend that leg, plant the hands, step the right foot back to meet the left. Inhale, and then exhale as you lower down. Push the ground away, upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg into your chest, around the spine, step it forward, coming into warrior one. So flip that right toes towards the right side of the mat. Get light into the hands, engage the core, coming up, inhale, warrior one. Maybe you need to lengthen out your stance as I do. Arms up near your ears here. Inhale, square the hips, relax the shoulders. Exhale, the right hand comes in front, down, and then back, opening up to warrior two on the right. So align your left heel with your right arch, nice and strong through the legs. Looking over your left middle finger. Inhale. Exhale, flip the left palm. Right hand comes to the right thigh. Lean forward like you're offering something up. And then come on back. So look up at your left elbow. Inhale. Exhale, going into that side angle pose. So you can either bring your left arm to your left thigh, like this, or to a block or to the mat. Enjoy the stretch in the right side body. Inhale big, and then exhale big as you rotate your torso to face towards the ground. Step that right foot in as much as needed. Straighten the left leg, and then drape your torso over your left thigh. And we're just going to take a couple breaths here because it feels oh so good. Maybe come back to that word or phrase that you wanted more of, you wanted to embody, you need more of in your life. I do believe if we concentrate on things and we have them in our minds and we repeat them to ourselves daily, that they will start to manifest in our life. But I think that's just good, like, psychology, right? So we're coming into another chaturanga. So you can stop by your tabletop position here and then roll the toes over, lift the legs up, inhale, lean forward, exhale as you lower down. This time we're going all the way down. So exhale, exhale, belly hits the floor, and then we're gonna roll up just slightly with our hands underneath our shoulders to a cobra, baby cobra here. Inhale, and then exhale, lower down. Put your right ear against the mat. And then inhale, we're coming back up, baby cobra, baby back bend. Lift your shoulders, your head, neck away from the mat, grounding the tops of your feet down into the mat. Exhale, bring your left ear to the mat, left temple to the mat. Relax for a moment. And then inhale, come back up, baby cobra. Hold it. Exhale, lower all the way down. We're going to bring our hands out to the sides as if we have cupcakes underneath our hands. Tent the fingers and bring your hands directly below your elbows. So one more time, we're going to come up. So inhale up. This time we're going a little further than the baby cobra. So maybe give it another 50% or 25%. And then lower back down. Keep engaging the back body. Engage the glutes, ground the tops of the feet down into the mat. Inhale, we're coming back up. This time, dip the right, shoulder in towards the mat, turning to the left. Right, so my right shoulder is just hovering over the mat. I can bring it to touch, but that doesn't feel as satisfying. That feels, I need to bring more attention to the shoulder, right? So if I'm just collapsing it and it's hitting the mat, it's a relaxed position. So let's go the other direction. So lift up, inhale, and then exhale, bring the left shoulder towards the mat. Stay active in the arms. Inhale, come back up. Maybe if you want to flatten the hands out and coming into seal pose, you really, I feel like the Little Mermaid here, really push the ground away and you're letting that bend come from your back. Engage the core to protect the back. And then inhale big, and then exhale. Let's lower all the way down. Bring your hands directly below your shoulders again, and then roll the toes over. See if you can push up to a high plank position, or you can go ahead into all fours. That's perfectly fine too. I'm going to try to push up from a high plank position, and then push back to downward facing dog. Let's start to walk our hands towards our feet. So make baby steps with your hands. Good. And then once you reach the back of your mat, we're going to bring our hands underneath our feet, right? So your big toes should be kind of touching your wrists. You can bend the knees if you need to. And then you're going to just play around with balance. Try to actually like lift your heels off the mat just a little bit. Right, so you're just balancing on your hands. It's pretty fun. Walk our hands out from underneath our feet. My video cut out, so if there's a weird transition here, that's why I'm having to redo half my video. So go ahead and start to walk your hands out from underneath your feet. And then we're going to start to roll up slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae. Let the head come last. Bring your hands up, biceps next to your ears. We're going to put on our stilettos. So lift the heels up off the mat. Get really strong through the ankles. And then we're going to take some baby shuffles towards the center of our mat. So just little tiny baby steps. And I'm going to come to face you. So turn towards either side of your mat so you can see me. And then lower your heels back down. Bring your arms down. We're going to bring our legs out nice and wide and parallel the feet. So they're going to be mirrors, images of each other, both facing the same direction. For me, this is towards the left side of my mat, along the same edge as the front and the back of my mat. So parallel the feet here. Bring your hands to your hips. Magnetize the elbows towards each other on the back body. Inhale. And then exhale, start to fold from the hips, leaning forward, nice flat back here. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Engage the core, engage the back. Your legs are certainly engaged. And then on an exhale, you're going to continue your journey down, forward, towards the mat. Inhale. Exhale, plant your right hand down underneath your face. And then I want you to bring your left hand to the flat part of your back here, so your sacrum. So I want you to keep your hips level so that if I were to come over, I could set a drink on this bony part of your back and it wouldn't spill. So this means that maybe your twist, which we're about to go into, isn't gonna look perfect, but that's okay. So you can keep your hand here and start to twist towards the back of your mat or your left leg, or you can bring your hand up and look up towards your left hand if it feels okay on the neck. If not, go ahead and turn your gaze back down towards the floor. No big deal. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Replace the right hand with the left. So go ahead and bring your right hand to your sacrum one more time. Make sure it's nice and flat. Keep the hips level. As you start to turn towards the front of your mat or your right foot, and if you'd like to, and you did it on the other side, feel free to extend the right hand up towards the ceiling. Look up towards the right hand if it's okay on the neck. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Bring both hands down in front of you. Turn your hands so that your fingertips are facing behind you, right? So towards your knees. And then start to walk your hands between your legs. So dipping your head down towards the mat as far as it will go. And reach through your legs as far as you possibly can. Maybe you play around with bringing your weight into the balls of your feet, so towards the toes, lifting the heels up just slightly. Maybe you want to shake your head, no. Shake your head, yes. Loosening the neck up. Take one more breath here, big inhale. Bigger exhale. Start to walk your hands back underneath your face, right? So engage your core, engage your back. We're going to lift the hands away from the ground, bring them back to your hips. Magnetize the elbows towards each other on the back body. And on an inhale, start to rise on up to standing. Exhale all the air out. Inhale, come up onto your tiptoes and off your heels, turn your toes to the right and left about 45 degrees. Drop the heels back down. Going into goddess squat. Guys, this is the third shoot I've done of this position because my camera has cut out. So I am with you. I'm feeling this, okay? So start to squat down. And ideally, you want your thighs to be parallel with the ground. No big deal if you're up here, whatever. This is still work. But what I do want you to do for certain is keep tracking your knees towards the pinky edge of your feet, right? So don't let them collapse in like this. This is a no-no. So keep drawing them out, okay? So go as deep into the goddess squat as you want. We're gonna do a couple things here, okay? And if this gets to be too much, just straighten your legs. If it feels so good, and then just come back down into it, okay? So sometimes you need a break. I used to have to straighten my legs really quick and then come back into it too. It's totally cool. All right, so we're going to goalpost the arms, right? Okay. Lower down to your comfort level. Lift your right heel. Inhale. Stay for the exhale. Drop the heel. Left side. Inhale. Stay for the exhale. Drop the heel. Inhale, lift both heels up. Drop the butt down an inch more. Exhale all the air out. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Drop the heels. Parallel the feet. Straighten the legs. Fold forward. You can grab opposite ankles here, right, with the right and left. Drawing your chest down towards the mat. You can grab peace fingers. Grab your big toes with your peace fingers. And draw your elbows out to the sides, whichever feels better. Let's just take a breath in here. Exhale it all out. Bring your hands, you guessed it, back to your hips. Engage the core, and we're just going straight up, no lingering in the in between. So inhale, come on up. Up, 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 up. Awesome. And then let's just go ahead and heel toe our feet back into center. Cool. Let's turn towards the front of our mat here, right? We're gonna come into Samastitihi. Inhale. Exhale it all out. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And then bring them to prayer overhead. Draw them down the body as you hinge at the hips, diving forward. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Bring your hands to blocks or your shins. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. And then exhale, plant the hands, step back. And then inhale in your high plank. And then exhale as you lower your forearms down. So you can bring your palms down to the mat, right? Or you can clasp your hands like you're holding hands with yourself. I want you to tuck your pelvis. So the tendency here is to kind of try to lift the butt up, right? I want you to tuck your pelvis and lower your hips just a little bit. It's going to intensify it. So we're going to hold this plank and keep pushing the ground away. Keep pushing the ears and the shoulders away from each other. So relax the shoulders away from the ears, although my shoulders are anything but relaxed right now. Long neck. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale with control. Start to lower down, right? So bring your pelvis to the ground. We're gonna, if your palms aren't already on the mat, bring your hands to the mat. Bring your elbows, if they're not already, directly underneath your shoulders, and start to draw your chest through your shoulders for Sphinx pose. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, roll the toes over, coming into a tabletop position. So just push your hips up and back. Start to walk your knees in towards your hands, right, to the top of your mat. And no particular way to get there. We're gonna come to a seated position. We're gonna come into boat pose here. So a couple variations of boat pose. You can be here with bent knees, arms out in front of you, palms face up. You can straighten the legs and bring the arms next to your ears for this a little more challenging boat pose here. I'm going to come here and then start to slowly lower down with control. Nice straight back, and then inhale, come back up. Exhale, slowly lower down with control. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, lower down with control. Inhale, come back up. Inhale. Exhale, relax the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, and then exhale, lower back down, this time to stay, right? We're gonna draw the knees into the chest. Big inhale here, and bring the knees out to the respective right and left, nice and wide. You can stay here, or you can go into happy baby. So you can reach towards your toes, grab your toes with your peace fingers, or grab the outsides of your feet with your hands, and you're reaching your hands in between your legs, right? So reach your hands in between the legs, between the knees, and then grab for either the big toes or the sides of the feet. And then you're bringing your feet up like this, as if you were drawing back a bow and arrow. Keep drawing your knees down towards the mat, but keep your lower back rounded into the mat at the same time. most importantly, you want a nice flat back on the mat, and then draw your knees in, your legs in like a bow and arrow. Secondly. So you can stay here or with your legs nice and wide. If you're in your happy baby and you're digging this, maybe start to rock side to side. It's a really great massage for the lower back. So I just want to give you a couple options here to close out the practice. So you can stay in happy baby or nice and wide, legs just drawn into the chest like this. Another position that I really like is a shoulder stand. So you can start to draw your legs up and then lift the hips up, right? And then you're gonna prop yourself up with your hands, drawing your elbows towards each other on the back body, right? So on the mat, start to draw your elbows towards each other. And you're gonna, just like we did in bridge poses before, I don't know that we did it this time. I think I recorded it and maybe I skipped it. But anyway, so you're gonna pretend that you have like a piece of fruit or something very breakable between your chin and your sternum. So you want to leave a little space there and keep drawing your legs over your pelvis, right? Engage the core as always. So you can stay here, getting the blood flowing in the opposite direction, so good. Or you can start to draw your legs into ear pressure pose. So drop your knees down. Knees come to each side of your head, and you're going to apply just a little bit of pressure onto your ears. So things get very muffled, and then you start to feel like your head's like a seashell, right? So you can like feel the ocean or listen to the ocean as you inhale and exhale. So stay like this. If you're digging this, this is a great stretch for the back and the back of the neck. You can also come into plow pose. So I think my block's in the way, but if you want to start to straighten the legs, right? This is also a wonderful stretch for the back body, the entire back body, in fact, because I feel this in my hamstrings as well. And you're just going to let your hands drop to the ground if you'd like. You can, I guess, also support here if you want to. And just breathe. So whichever pose you chose, or if you followed along with all of them, we're going to start to come back to a laying down position. So you can just unravel here, or I like to bring my legs to straight and then see if I can drop each vertebrae down one by one, right? And then my butt and my legs come last. So coming into Shavasana here, or corpse pose. So you can go the traditional route, which I usually do, and just palms up, relax the arms and shoulders, legs, everything down to the mat, and just relax everything here. Today though, I would like to do a legs up the wall position. Sometimes I do this before bed. It's so good for kind of like slowing down your heart rate, tapping into that nervous system here. So I'm going to bring my legs up my wall or my door and just hang out here. So start to tap into your breath, focus on the breath. Maybe you think about that word or phrase that you wanted to embody. Start to notice the noises around you. Maybe there's a faint noise in the room or just outside your room. Maybe you hear the traffic outside, the beeping horns. Maybe you hear the wind in the leaves, trees outside the window. Pick out a couple different sounds that you hear around you, even if it's your breath. Maybe you then notice how the air feels on your skin, the coolness of the air. Maybe you notice the way that your clothing feels against your skin. Maybe you notice that your breath feels cool coming into your nostrils and down the back of your throat into your lungs. Maybe you notice it feels a bit warmer on the way out. So as you exhale, your breath feels a little more warm in the back of your throat and your nose. And as thoughts pop up, treat them like clouds on a windy day. So just kind of acknowledge the thought and then just let it blow on by. If you're having trouble focusing or not focusing, keep coming back to those sensations, whether it be hearing or maybe even smell, I suppose, or the feeling of the air on your skin. So you can stay here as long as you want. It's your practice. If your legs are up the wall, start to kind of come off the wall if you can. If you're just laying on your back, maybe you start to bend your knees, bringing your feet down to the mat, right? You can get to a seated position however you'd like, but I'm gonna start to roll onto one side of my body and then push the ground away with my top arm and top hand. And you can come to crisscross applesauce, or you can sit on your heels again. Let's bring our hands down for some grounding energy, right? Or maybe you flip your palms upward if you need to receive a little energy from the universe today. Inhale nice and big. Exhale it all out. Inhale, bring your hands to prayer in front of your sternum. Exhale, bend or tilt your head forward just slightly. Inhale, bring your hands up, bring your thumbs to your third eye or just between your eyebrows. The light and the dark within me bows down to the light and the dark within you. Inhale. Exhale. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I appreciate you. Couple more days, I'll be putting out another video. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.